Musings by Nikki. Today we are going to work on some ephemera for my nature journal that we are doing start to finish here. And I thought today what we're going to make are some slides. It's kind of a field notesy type of journal. So I thought we would make some slides to go in there. As you can see, they kind of have a shiny film on there. You know what? I totally forgot to turn on any filming lights here. So hold on. Let's do this. Oh, hey, look at that. Let's try another one. And the last one. There we go. Now you can see a lot better what I'm doing. Okay. So there we go. These have the shiny film on top of them that's, supposed to replicate glass. But as with most things that we do for junk journals, this is like a representative aesthetic type of thing rather than it needing to be anything, official. So it's supposed to just look similar. So those are what we're going to do. Those are 3 different sizes. The kits, the slides themselves. So I actually have some Tracy Fox. These are called blank specimen slides. And the kit, you get them. They're in all different shapes and sizes. Here's some smaller square ones. That's that tall one that I had. Yeah, those are more of those. Then these are kind of a medium shape. And then I've also got printed out here, and I thought this is what we could maybe make today, some tiny, teeny ones, some small ones, and some teeny ones. I want to make a couple of like bundles of them, so we'll make 3 and bundle them together. Plus I also have, so I have a couple of books here that I have petals and flowers from last summer. I've got some, and they made it through the move and everything. I lost a bunch of the stuff out of the books as I was unpacking because I totally forgot what they were in my haste. But I still have a bunch of petals and stuff. But I've got some small little ones that I thought would fit well in these little tiny windows. So I've got that. However, you could make these out of anything. Really, all you need is this general shape. Oops. You just need the general shape, right? So we're going to use an X-Acto knife to cut out the window, and you could do this with any type of paper that you wanted. Any paper pack that you have, regular cardstock. You could do it out of anything, honestly. So I'm just using the kit because I, happen to have the kit. So also, if you don't have actual dried flowers to go to, a couple alternatives. So this is the Tim Holtz field notes pack, and it's got it's got butterflies and mushrooms and all kinds of stuff in there. And we might use some of these butterflies, not for this because I think they're too big, but I might make some into like the larger ones because that butterfly would fit inside of this, or maybe a couple butterflies inside this taller ones. So I might use some of those. And then you could also print out something to go in there. I mean, you can do lots of different things. Then I am using for the plasticky layer, these bags that you get, like if you order things from Etsy or a lot of different places, you get the bag that you peel open the top. So save those. That's what I'm using. I have a bunch of unused ones because I send things out in them. So I've already sliced some off the bottom here to make those other ones. And I've still got some left up here. Oh, and here's a little piece of it. And then I've got a couple of pieces of coffee stained paper. And I'll explain to you why I have that because normally I would have printed these out onto cardstock. But, as with me and my printing, you think I would learn, but I don't. So guys, I don't learn. So I just pushed print and printed a bunch of things, thinking I had cardstock in there, not checking first, and I didn't. This is regular old, it's not even nice printer paper. It's just my standard, like what I do when I'm drafting a kit and I printed out the cheap stuff. That's what I had in there. So it's too flimsy, on its own. Even folded in half, it's too flimsy. So, and it'll just be white backed. So we're going to, I'll get to that in a minute and I'll kind of explain my thought. Well, here, I've got one here. So this is it once I've cut the window out, right? And then when you fold it, now it's white back there. And I didn't want bright white as my background, especially given the kind of grungy nature of the slide, the outside of the slide itself. So by putting a piece of coffee stained paper behind it, it now makes it look more vintage, right? And it gives it a little more heft and reinforcement. So it just makes it a little thicker instead of this flimsy slide, which is good. That worked out really well. So let's get down to business. I am going to, so I've got these rough cut. Obviously, I started fussy cutting and then I remembered, oh yeah, I wanted them rough cut because that's what I did the last time. If you fussy cut them first, then you're going to have to trim the coffee stained paper and the plastic off anyway. So you might as well save yourself the double work and just do it all at once. And then I'm going to use just my regular old, X-Acto knife here. And I'm going to trace along the lines and cut out the windows on these. Now, a note on doing this, let me grab I do it freehand, but if you want to, you can always put a ruler up, next to it like so. And that way you're following the edge of the ruler and making it nice and straight. Okay, but I usually do it freehand because, I'm a freewheeling crafter. The trick, if you're doing it freehand, is always be pulling the blade towards you. If you try to go sideways, you're going to go up and down and get askew. If you try to go, away from you or other directions, so turn the work and pull the blade toward you, you'll make a much straighter line. I learned that when I did a lot of hand lettering, and you're going to try and draw, freehand draw a frame around something, always pull towards you, because as you pull the marker towards you, you make a straighter line. Same thing with the X-Acto knife. So again, I'm going to pull it toward me, and I go just a hair past the corner, so I know that I'm going to make a nice, neat corner. Otherwise, you get caught up with not having that corner cut, and then you've got to rip it out, and you end up with a weird little rip. And you'll see I'm turning my work every time, and boom. If you don't have a sharp blade on this, this will be tough. So if you have an X-Acto, but it's not sharp, put a new sharp blade in there. It's almost not worth doing if you have a dull blade, because it'll just be super frustrating and it'll tear it up. Also, just another reason why I love my glass mat is you can, you can cut on this. It's so smooth. It's like butter. You cut through and it doesn't catch on anything. On my, self-healing mat, those work great for using my rotary cutter for fabric and stuff, but definitely not for doing this kind of thing. I feel like it gets hung up on the previous cuts of things, but man, this glass mat, it's like butter. All right, I'm going to speed this part up so you don't have to watch me cut these three out. So I'm going to speed this up. I'll cut these out. We'll be right back. I have ink on I think I just have permanent ink stains on my hands now. Okay, so I'm going to cap that up because guess who's stabbed herself inadvertently before? Okay, so now we've got them cut out. Next thing is, before you go any further, you need to ink the insides of the windows. This is a little bit tough. I don't know how I'm going to do those smaller ones. It's kind of tough on these. You just kind of have to do the best you can. But if you don't ink, I'm going to ink around the outside of my slides. If you don't ink the inside of this, it's definitely super noticeable. Plus, this kind of helps. The inking gives it just a nice little border, and it kind of brings that attention to the window a little bit even more. This one's not quite so hard. Those little ones are going to be tough. Okay. And even just the white edges, like this one's dark, so you're not going to see the inks. Well, yeah, you do. But you will see the white cut edge if you don't do this part. Okay, guys, how's this going to work? Doop, doop, doop. It's just stick your edge in there. I refuse to get out any other tools right now, obviously. So okay, that was super odd. I don't know why my camera just decided to stop there, but it did. But you guys were all laughing at Pete on his bobcat going by my window a bunch of times. You know what? I might as well do this one while I've got it out. And now, of course, today there's construction going on at the house across the street. They're having new siding put on, and there just went a tractor driving down Main Street because, you know, that's where we live now. Okay, I'm not worrying about the outside edges. On this one I've cut, but these I haven't even cut out yet, so we're not worried about the outside edges because we'll do that at the very, very end. The next thing we're going to do is fold them in half. So you will see that there is on this kit, there are these little notches here. So you can kind of tell where it should be folded in half. If you're just using your own, you know, piece of paper, then you would just obviously fold it in half, and then you'd have to center your window wherever you want it. In using your own paper, depending on how big you make the window, I mean, you could make it this whole thing. Just remember, we're going to put some labels and things, so you want to leave one side somehow where you can put some labels on. So now what I'm going to do is the trick of folding these. You can either get out your scoreboard, which I might do in a sec, but I was going to show you, I just try to put a little, I try to fold that, get started on the edge and put a little crease in there. And then I try to do the same thing at the other edge. And if I can get those two edges folded in and get started on those, then I can kind of just run my fingers and meet in the middle. This little one is tough, but you want to be gentle. If you're using this kit or another slides kit where we've cut out this window, that's this is the weak spot right over here, this little edge. So you don't want to, you know, wreck that or ruin it. So there's one side started. There's the other side started. There we go. And the other nice thing about not cutting these out ahead of time is if you cut it out, then you have to make your folds, you know, you have to make this edge and this edge line up perfectly. But now, you know, once we've got the lining paper and the plastic and everything, and we go to cut it out, you can kind of cut right inside the lines and you know it'll just be lined up nice. So it's saving you a step. And okay, there's that side started. There's that side started. So it's saving you extra work. So I was going to say, in my video where I was asking for your input, though, it sounds like most of you were saying you'd be interested in seeing as much as I was willing to post. So we'll just do that. We'll, you know, I probably will make more slides than I make here on this video, but I'll show you what I'm doing. Sorry, I'm a finger licker for sure. Sorry if that grosses some of you out, but I am definitely one of those people. It always makes me think, like almost every day I think of when I lick my fingers, I think of my mom, like counting letters and counting cash and counting things as a kid, because I remember her doing it a lot. Mom, you tell me, I don't know, do you still do that? Or is that just me remembering weird? But it makes me think of you. Aw. It's a weird thing to have me think about you, but... Okay, here comes the snowmobile across Main Street. Did you hear that? That was the snowmobile coming across Main Street. Why is this folding funny? Tis the season. We finally have enough snow. For the longest time, we just didn't have a whole lot of snow. But now lakes are frozen over, so we've got ice houses rolling through every weekend. And lots of ice fishermen. Okay, now we're going to back them. I brought out just some, this is another good way to use up your paper scraps, I guess, so you could print them like this intentionally. And I thought the water stain thing might be cute. I don't know. Cute, cool, I don't know. Maybe not. That might detract from whatever I put in there. Oh, I don't know though. I kind of like that grunge along that edge. What do you think? I think we'll do one and try it. So what I'm going to do is, because I want to kind of capture it there, and then I'm just going to give a rough cut on the bottom there. And we're going to do the same here. This one might just fit in there just fine. See if I can get the water stain. Kind of just looks like an old water stained slide. I kind of like that look. But in order to reinforce it, I kind of want the whole thing backed with this. So throwing things around in my haste. Okay, then we'll do them this way. And the next one. Oh, see, I kind of like that grunge back there. And the last one. How can I get a little... There. Okay, we're going to set this aside then. Over here. And, oh, and I forgot to do this one though. Okay, so I've got those. Now the next step is going to be just to glue. I'm not going to glue stick. I'm going to, well, yeah, I'm going to glue stick. It'll go faster. So I'm going to glue this paper in to the back. And I do kind of want to be careful about getting it right up to the edge because, like I said, I'm counting on this as being reinforcement. So there, it's going to stick out, but that's okay. Like I said, when we trim it down, we'll trim all of this, all of the layers at once, and then there'll be a nice, even, you know, layer. So I'm going to glue stick all these in, fast forward through this part, and oh, I just took a chunk out of my glue stick with my nail. Ew. All right, I'm going to fast forward through this part, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys. So we've got all of those glued in. So we've got all of those glued in. The next step is to make our little plasty windows. Well, actually, no. The next step, let's put in our florals. So I'm going to flip through here carefully because some of these are like super tiny little things. And I don't remember which book has which. Oh, this is some rose petals. I believe those came from Valentine's Day last year, maybe. We've got a lot of those. I feel like in one of these books, I had a whole bunch of little, and see, here's the thing. When I get past that page, they all come like flying out. Okay, yeah, here's a bunch of little petals, but they're a little too long for these, I think. So, ooh, delicate. But I think they would fit in here. So we'll put like 3. I'll put 3 in one of those. Okay, we'll do some of those. Here's tiny little pink guys. Yeah, these were all over everything when I opened the package. These will go in one of the tiny little ones. Can you even see them? Oh yeah, you can. They're tiny. Well, that's okay. We'll glue a couple of these little tiny pink pressed buds down in there. Okay. Let's see what else I have. I think I have more of those yellow. Oh yeah, it's sticking out of the edge there. So we could make another one of these. That's probably gonna, let's see, do I have any small enough to go into this window? Yeah, and then maybe we can like cut one in half or something. Whoops, that one broke. Oh, here's kind of a weird one. That'll go in there next to it. And then, oh yeah, these are from like a tiger lily, I think. I'm gonna be careful so I don't lose my little samples. These will need to be either in this, probably this big one. Actually, be very careful here. There's some bigger ones and some smaller ones. They're all wanting to go into the crease. This bigger ones could go here, but then these smaller ones with the actual really cool tiger markings could go in here. And then it's two different like looks to a slide too. So you guys, if you're inspired by this project, if you get flowers for Valentine's Day or anything, here's you know, that's coming up. Tell your sig flowers, please. But tell them you don't just want roses. You want one of those bouquets that has like a whole bunch of different kinds. Those are more of those purple. I saved a lot of those, I guess. Let's look in the other book. Tell them you want like a bouquet that has lots of different kinds of flowers in it. Oh, see, there's a whole little bouquet. That'll go in a nice big slide. Oh, here are some little blossoms. I bet one of these little cuties would go well in a... Yep, that works there. Let's see, I don't remember what else I had in here. I think I already used a bunch of the flowers out of this book. Yeah, there's some more of that same. I think that's it. So, but there are a couple of leaves that aren't attached, so maybe we could use some of those somehow. Or we could just make another little flower one. That's cute too. Oh, and the little bud fell off, so we could use that in there. Okay, I'm liking it. So now what we're gonna do is just very gently glue these down inside our window. And the reason that we haven't put on the glass yet is so that you can still kind of work through. I am barely putting any glue on these because they'll be held down for the most part by, you know, the pressure of everything. And at the end, I'm going to sew around. Again, if you are not a sewer or you don't have a sewing machine or something, you don't have to. Oh, I just broke the edge. That's okay. It's like a slide. We're examining nature. This is just for aesthetic anyway. Okay, I'm going to turn it. They're so fragile. I'm going to turn it and go this way with it. Oops. Oh no, now I broke that side. Okay, I'm going to just glue this down and stop messing with it. There. Okay, so like I said, the combination of the layering of stuff is going to hold it all together permanently in the end. Okay, so again, so you don't have to sit and, God, these are so fragile. So you don't have to sit and listen to me the whole time while I just complain about how fragile they are and how much I'm breaking them. I will, sorry guys, I had to concentrate. I will fast forward through this part again as I glue all the little flowers down in their specimens. Okay guys, so now we've got that done and all the little flower specimens have been glued into their little slides. So cute. I'm so happy with this so far. Now we have to make the plastic films that will go, oh, this one got glue on it somehow. Oh, it's coming off though. The plastic films that will go inside the slide. So this one's already cut from yesterday. So that'll go in there. But what I'm gonna do is cut off this sticky part on top there, 'cause obviously we don't need that part. And then it's 2 layers because it's a bag, so I'm gonna cut the 2 layers apart, which probably most of this you can't see because this is completely transparent plastic film. Real hard to get that on camera. Okay, so now I have two separate pieces, and we just need, so this you don't want to, like, I don't want this whole thing. I just want a smaller window. So I'm gonna cut, oh gosh, it's hard for even me to see where I'm cutting. I had to try and find a light here. Okay, so that'll fit in there. This will fit in here. Okay. Other things you could use here, you could use a thinner vellum. It would give it kind of a little bit clouded look if you use like a thin enough one though. Oh, that works there. Okay, and then I wonder if this will fit in these 2 windows or if it's going to be too small. I don't know. Nope, that works there. So that should make this one work here. So a thinner vellum would work here. Any sort of, whoops. Ha ha ha, almost glued that one shut prematurely. Any sort of clear packaging material, you know, a lot of times, oh, like even on this Tim Holtz. So the package, this is a little bit thicker than the one I'm using, but this packaging would work for this. And it's a little bit stiffer, so it would make it a little easier to work with probably. I happen to have vellum sitting over here. This is a thick vellum though. So, I mean that's the look it would give you even with a thicker vellum. So if you had a less opaque, oops, wants to take my plastic with it, less opaque vellum, that would work. Like a tracing paper almost is thin enough. Let's see, thinking, what else could you use? You could put like I wonder if, do I have a tea bag over here or something? Something like a tea bag or something might work. I've got this, but this isn't really, this is doubled up. But let's see. Yeah, see, this is a doubled up cold brew filter, but this part where it's thin enough there, you can see, I can see through it. So something like that would work. I mean, it really, and like I said, we're not going for official looking. This is totally aesthetic for our journals. So now I'm going to put a little bead of glue, and I'm staying like a 1/4 inch back from the edge of the frame window because I don't want the glue to smash through there. There. And I've already just dragged my plastic into the glue. I don't want the glue to smash through when I put it on. So now I'm going to lay my plastic on. And you see it's, well, you probably can't see. I'll hold it up in a second. But as I put the glue on, you see how it wants to, it smooshes right out, and you don't want it smooshing out the window. So you want to stay back at least a 1/4 inch and put a real thin bead of glue is what you want to do. Yep, they're over there yelling, doing the construction. So I'm putting a thin layer of glue back from the window. And again, you just, at this point, you just want to get the whole window covered. It doesn't matter if it's hanging out the top or the sides or anything like that, because you know, you want it to be able to fold, so you just only want to go up to the fold. But on the tops and sides, it doesn't matter so much because we're going to trim all that off. So there's that. So one more time and then I'll speed up again. I'm almost like spreading the glue with my tip as I put it on to make sure it's nice and thin. And then again, I don't want to go any further than the fold. And I am, can you hear that, guys? They're moving this big tractor around out there because construction. My main street has been a busy place lately, which is odd because it usually is not. All right, so that closes. So you just want to go on this edge. You only want to go up to the edge so it folds nice. You don't want to have the plastic hanging out over this because that would put bulk in your fold and you don't want that. So you want it to cover the whole window nicely, and it doesn't matter if it hangs out these edges because we'll trim all that off. So I'm going to go ahead and glue, I did that one, glue the other 4 in, and I'll be right back. All the windows are glued in. Now we're going to glue the whole thing shut. So I'm going to come with my glue, and again I'm going to go up roughly to the edges, but still on this step you want to get only within like a 1/4 inch of that window again, because now the glue could smush out into the window and you don't want that. So you just want to glue this down nice, but avoid glue smooshing into the window is what we're trying to go for. Okay, now same thing. We're going to avoid the window, well, within a 1/4 inch. And flatten it down. So now the process of doing this is what's gonna, you know, if as long as you've tacked the flower in there just slightly or whatever you're gonna use. If you're using real samples like I am, here, you wanna tack it in there just lightly because of course you don't want the glue coming through or ruining your little sample. If you're using paper like the Tim Holtz stuff, or you know, printouts of flowers samples or butterflies, or you can use this for insects, for like a naturalist journal or something. So whatever you're doing, if you're using it paper, you can tack it down a lot better. But the nice thing is once we do all this sandwiching here and around the window, it's going to hold those flowers in there. Even if they come loose, if they came loose at some point, they're still going to be within the window of the slide. And I know lots of other people have lots of other videos on how to make slides. So if you're wanting to try something different, I'm trying to think of, you know, alternatives and different things to do. If you want some examples, I know Tracy's done a few videos. I think Nick the Booksmith's got a video on how they made slides. I'm sure all kinds of people, and I'm just not even gonna say anymore because you're all intelligent people. You can search that on YouTube the same way you found me. So okay, I'm gonna finish these up. And usually if I'm doing something like this for a journal, I'll do multiples at a time like this. That's part of my process. And a lot of times I will end up then with extras that I don't use in the journal. So sometimes I send, if there's extras, I'll send them along with the journal when someone buys it. If, you know, if it's something that wouldn't go with another project really that I'm working on. But if it's something like these, I could totally slip into lots of different kinds of journals. So then if I make extras, I end up with extras. That's actually an okay thing, because then you have some on hand to slip into your next journal, which is always nice to have on hand. Like I, you know, watch Gail, and she's just got boxes and boxes of ephemera that she's already made up. And she can just, when she's decorating a journal, she can go to her boxes of ephemera and pull stuff out. And I always think, man, that's smart. But I typically work journal by journal rather than ephemera, you know, just like doing a bunch of ephemera. That's just my process. Who knows? Maybe I'll start just making a bunch of tags up or something. Okay. All right. So now we've got them all glued shut. We're in the home stretch. This is where they start to really look awesome, because we're going to trim. Oh, come on. We're going to trim the outside edge. So I'm just going to go along, and I'm going to try and stay right inside so that I'm pretty sure I'm cutting that back and not getting any white space. But we'll check it in a second. Yep, so no white space on the back. And now, all of a sudden, we went from having this sloppy looking slide to having this rather finished looking slide, which is really nice. And then, like I said, I'm gonna sew around the edges of mine. This one's been sewn around, so I'm gonna sew around the edges of them. But I'm gonna trim up all of these. I'll, again, fast forward, so you don't have to watch me do, you know, recreate the wheel here. I am going to go ahead and, like I said, trim around all of these, and then I'll be right back. All right, now this last one's going to be a little trickier, and that's because I've already cut the edges of this one, so I've got to be a little more careful. That's why I kind of recommend actually doing the rough cut like those other ones were, because then you don't have to be so careful like this. There, okay. All right, now we've got them all cut down. Look at how cute these are looking. Now, of course, comes the inking to get rid of any white edges from the paper that we stuck in there, and to bring out the edges and kind of grungy them up a little. It's just the finishing touches that make them look extra cool. I can hear Joy downstairs practicing ball handling drills in the basement now that she plays basketball. It's a thing. We have now bouncing ball all the time. Okay. See, I love the way that inking around stuff like this does. And see how the ink around the frame really calls out the frame. I don't know, the window. I don't know how else to say it. But then the ink around these edges really just brings out the, you know, it gives it a nice finished look, I should say. I will always take the time to ink stuff. I've tried to challenge myself a few times to do things without inking as much, and it's just hard because in my head, inking is like the final step to make things look finished. Oh, there's a little bit of the shininess. See, this is why I don't like this. This is why I would highly recommend doing the the sloppy cutting. Plus it just saves you time, honestly. Then you're not fussy cutting them out the first time and then re-fussy cutting them out. Okay. At this point, I am going to sew around them, and then we're going to put some labels on them, because I want to sew around them first, because I don't want to sew over labels. But the sewing just gives them, again, because they're thinner paper, it gives it a little more heft, and I just like the kind of the finished look of that. So I'm gonna go sew around all of these at my machine, which is right over here, and then I will be right back. Okay, here we go. Slides all sewn around. So sewn around the edges of all the slides. You can barely pick that up on the camera, right? I was trying to show you one of the lighter ones or darker ones because I thought maybe the thread would show up a little bit better, but probably not. Yeah, you can kind of see. Anyway, you can feel the difference. It makes it, it just gives it a lot more, you know, again, polished look. So then I've got a tin full of, these are Tracy's, again, Tracy's great for this kind of stuff, Tracy Fox. These are field notes labels and like random science-y labels, I believe. And the nice thing is some of them are extremely small, so they will fit on these tiny baby slides. So like here's another, come on, there's a tiny number. Here's a tiny little one. Some of them, you know, like, because again, these slides are teeny weeny, but some of them are a little bit bigger. So we can put bigger labels on them. And I am just going to, the goal with this is to kind of make it look like they've been written on by people as they're making notes and you know, about specimens and whatnot. And I'm not gonna think about it too much. I'm just picking stuff, trying to get down to maybe if there's some more tiny. Oh, here's another tiny little number. We'll reserve the tininess for these tiny slides. What's this one? And these are some really cool like labels and stuff. Will this one fit on there? Not quite. It's a little too long. It's a little big. I like that one on there better. Actually, one of them can go on the back too. You can put stuff on the back too. There's a number for that one. And we'll maybe put a little bit of, the ones that look like they're just kind of writing like that, those work great to put like on the back of a slide, like that one. Because they, you know, it just, again, it gives it more character. Here's another, here's one that's, I can go on the back of one of those. And you don't have to do, you want each one to look a little bit different, I guess, is kind of what I'm going for. Oh, here's another. I can go on the back of that. And I think there are a couple of these. Did I just have another one? I can go on the back of one of those. That'd be awesome if there's like one more of those, but probably not gonna be my luck. No, but I think this can go on the back of one of them. Was there one more small? Because I've got two. Oh, I think I saw some small ones way down on the bottom here. It's just another number though. I don't want just another number. Possibly. What's this little guy? Just another number. Oh, here. That's just like a little writing thing. Okay. All right, so I'm going to close those up, and we're just going to start glue off my fingers. All right, now none of these have been inked. Sometimes I ink things before I put them in, and sometimes I don't. And this one. Whoa. And these are going to get layered, like, you know, so it looks like they've been in someone's field notes or in a, you know, in a diary notes or something for a while, and then they get different labels stuck on there through the years. And I'm going to try and keep the top edges free because I'm going to punch holes and put them together. So I'm going to keep that top edge free for now. But normally I'd stick, you know, labels and things up there too. So there's one done. I'm going to go ahead and ink and stick on the rest of these labels. I'll fast forward again so you don't have to watch me ink and glue a ton of labels, especially these teeny weeny ones, and then I'll be back. Now we've got all those glued together, all those glued, and they are looking good. I am happy with where we're at. Now the last thing I wanted to do was to make these two, or these three and these three into two like bundles. So I'm going to, I think I'm gonna set, when I was gluing this one, I was like, what am I doing? But it's okay, it's in the right corner. I'm gonna grab some eyelets, because I think I'm gonna put some eyelets through. Here's some tiny baby ones. And here's some bigger ones. And let's just put some little eyelets through these guys. I've got to hurry up because I've got a wedding I've got to go sing at. A kid that we've known. Well, oh, I can't even tell you how many times I've done that with this silly case. I'll open it upside down, you guys. At least this time they didn't like go everywhere dramatically like it's done in the past. Oh my goodness. Anyway, this kid, who's not a kid anymore, he's a man, who we've known since he was just little, is getting married today. And my dad is officiating. There we go. And my daughter Lizzie is playing the piano and I'm singing. So we've got to go, come the right way. So I've got to go, you know, put on some clothes that are not my around the house clothes. And whoops, warm up my voice. Come on, hands, you've been doing so good today. Whoops, that's not the color I was looking for. I missed one. Yeah, so I gotta go get dressed up and go sing at a wedding. Oh, I love the way this looks. I love these eyelets in here. This is just like I thought it would look. Don't you love it when a plan comes together? You think, well, I think this would look cute if I did it like this. Look at that. Aren't these just stinking adorable, these teeny little ones? And the best part is there's actual real flowers in there, which makes it even better. Okay, wait, is this upside down or the right side? I don't even know how to know. I should mark it. I'm going to set it the right side up, and then I'm going to remember to put a mark on there. However, you're going to see me in my next video that I use them going, oh, I said I was going to put a mark on there, and I never did. Yep. Coming soon to a video is me lamenting that I should have put a mark on there, and I didn't. But what fun would it be if I actually followed through on every single thing? Okay, those are all roughly, I think one's a little more metallic and one's more black paint, but that works. Okay, same thing. I'm going to punch these all in the corner. Oh, and so then while I'm doing this, I'll let you guys know, I've already had a couple people in recent videos ask some questions, and I try to answer them right in the moment, you know, in the comments. But I was thinking that since we're doing a series and I will be here, you know, I'll be here more frequently, maybe what we'll do is I will start writing down some of the questions, because I bet some of them are things that I could maybe talk a little bit more in depth about too, to answer. Some are simple answers. But I will keep some of the questions, and then every once in a while, maybe we can do like a Q&A type of deal. There, okay. And this one, I'm just going to leave like with these others over here as just ones that can be stuck in pockets or, you know, whatever. And then, how am I going to, I was thinking to put them on a ball chain, but I kind of like the idea of tying them together because, and I'm going to talk as I go over here. Oh, I think I already have some. Let's do this string. Because this is, you know, again, doesn't need to look super science-y, because we're going for aesthetic. So we're going to string them together and then just let them fall right off the string. Nope, I didn't. Oh, that time I did though. Oh my gosh, you guys. Here, I think I'm doing so good. Okay, I'm going to keep this tucked in my fingers here. Let's see what we can do about getting them all on here without losing the strings again. Come on, fingers. Okay. Yahoo! Then I'm just going to tie a simple knot in them. With enough room for them to move around on there. There. Oh, how fun is that? Okay, let's tie the other three together. Yep, I'm glad I gave myself enough string to work with because, you know, fingers. I'm going to keep that tucked in there. I learned my lesson. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. This time I do. Okay, this one I might trim down a little. Well, maybe not. I kind of like the extra strings. All right. Oh my gosh, there we go. Two super cute little bundles of slides. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? That's so fun. And you can flip through and see the backs. That'll look so cute, like, you know, clipped into the book somehow. Yeah, or like even, yeah, hanging from something in the book. I'm excited to figure out how to put these in there. Like I said, I will probably go ahead off camera and make a few more of these with maybe some of those butterflies from the field notes. And maybe I'll make a couple bundles of those. And I'll show you in a later video kind of what I did. And then in my last video, so we'll just do this format where I will work on something, and if I make extras of them, I will come back and show you the additional ones that I made in like the next video. And so in that theme, I want to show you that big sheet of cutoffs that I made in the last video, I have now cut into the shapes of tags and sewn around. So this is what those look like. Yeah, and I like those. These are nice, you know, collage tag bases that go right with the papers that we've got in the kit. So we'll decorate these up as well at some point, but now we've got some nice big, I like the big real estate on those. So we've got big, and they're like just 7, so they'll fit in and fill a whole page almost in a 5x7 journal. So I like the real estate we've got. So there we go, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I will, like I said, I think I'll collect the questions. So if you have questions, leave them in the comments below. I will try to answer. But you know, if it's a more long explanation or something, I will save my answers for a Q&A video. And we'll just try to, you know, depending on how much questions I get, how many questions I get or whatever. I'm gonna need some coffee for a sec. We'll just do them. Or maybe, you know, if there's just one question I want to address, I'll do it sometime in the, you know, one of the upcoming videos. So anywho, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. And, sorry, I'm like trying to get glue off my fingers and, you know, whatever. Good thing you don't sing with your hands and they won't have to see my hands at the wedding because they're a mess and I'm going to scrub them, but it probably won't all come off. Anyway, I will see you soon with our next video. I'm trying to have them come out daily right now, which is kind of fun. It's kind of a challenge. I feel very much like, you know, Shabby Dabby Doodah or Gail. And I don't know how, I always admired them for putting out, or Dee Dee does daily videos almost. So I've always admired those people that put out that many videos. Big ups to you guys, because, but it's also fun. Knowing that I'm communicating with you guys on a regular basis has been really fun. So have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening. We're in afternoon here, middle of the night, whatever time it is on whatever side of this fantastic globe of ours that you live on. And until I see you tomorrow or the next day, have a wonderful day and stay safe and stay healthy and get crafty, and leave me any questions in the description box below. And I rarely say this, but subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. This is kind of fun to bring you guys along on this journey. And if you subscribe, then you'll be able to see every time that I post something. Anyway, and like the video if you like this. And until I see you guys next time, take care. God bless. Bye, guys.